Meet Rob Nelson, talk show host.
Because you got the 70s thing going there. I got someone's underwear.
Robert Kennedy, thanks for taking a minute. Simple question.
Tucker,
It's good to see you. Listen,
You're a Bitcoin maximalist. You're Bitcoin forever.
I hate this central bank digital currency.
hey, I don't have all the answers, but together, I know we can find them.
Down in competition in the ratings tab for late night weekend viewers.
Hey everybody, welcome to Rob Nelson Live. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in on a Friday night. What a week it's been. And I'm just going to tell you, I've got a really special guest going to join me in about 5 minutes. Her name is Marky Costello. If you're a fan of GNN and the Goxley News Network, you might have heard her on with Taylor Ferber before. Yeah, I know. The guy comes second, but it's ladies first, right? Marky is both a dear friend and one of the most genius minds in media. I will say this, and I'm going to actually, I'm going to do my Trump weave and all this. I'm going to weave back to where I was actually going to start in a second, but Marky's right up there next to Roger Ailes, who started Fox News, who was actually my mentor. I'll get to that in 2 minutes. Obviously, the death of Charlie Kirk. So it's the death, it's the murder, it's the assassination. You can think what you want. I said when when Trump dodged that bullet, I was like, if they had killed him, if that guy it had killed Donald Trump, it would have started a cultural civil war. It didn't kill Donald Trump. Now, a lot of people were sad about that, wished it had, and now he's the most powerful man on the planet. But when Charlie Kirk got assassinated the other day, I was like, we've just launched the official cultural civil war in America. And again, I don't care your politics. Honestly, I don't care if you're a far left wing progressive, like my friend Nico House. And Nico, if you're out there listening, I want to talk to you. Nico won't agree with 2 words I say basically on this. You know, he's a black progressive who thinks Bernie Sanders is a fake progressive. AOC is a joke and Joe Biden's a racist. Nico and I may disagree, but Nico and I aren't going to put guns to each other's heads and kill one another for having those thoughts. So I don't care if you're the left or you're the right. We took out a guy whose simple crime was that he sat in front of people and opened a dialogue. Was he a little obnoxious sometimes? Maybe. I mean, he was just smarter than most people in the room. Let's be honest. Like, the guy's brain went so fast. I'm smart. I went to Stanford Law School. I'd listen to him. I'd be like, how the fuck did he come up with that so fast? Did he outsmart people, outthink people? Did he try to show them their inconsistency? Sure. The only people I ever saw Charlie Kirk be disrespectful to were people who were pompous, who acted like they were the smartest person in the room. And I'm a professor of this or that. He'd drop 6 questions and they'd be done. Like, maybe you should resign. He was so kind and thoughtful and compassionate, even to people who he admitted, I can't share your beliefs. I can't, my religion doesn't allow me to think that's okay, but I don't hate you. And I welcome you and I welcome a dialogue with you. And I want the best for you. We killed that person for having those conversations. And people are cheering. People are celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. People are literally like, yay, thank God. There's a store owner up in Cincinnati, a pizza place or barbecue place, and he wrote, good riddance. He was a piece of shit. Okay. And then he went on to say, don't expect me to back down with your social media threats because you won't silence me. Funny enough, his Facebook account is gone. Facebook didn't delete it. He deactivated it. Okay, Mr. Barbecue guy. So much for your conviction that you're not going to be silent. Charlie Kirk wasn't going to be silent. He was unafraid. He did know the risks and he continued a dialogue. And we shot him for it. And when I say we, because I mean we, all of us collectively. Yes, one guy, Tyler Robinson, a 22-year-old, I saw the picture of him outside his university 3 years ago. He's posing by the thing for the sign for the engineering school, wearing his black mask all by himself. There's not another person in like 60 feet. I'm like, you're wearing your mask all by yourself, outside by a sign. Wow, good for you. Not a shocker that you're brainwashed. But here's where I want to go before I bring Marky into this. It hit a national nerve. You know, last night, Thursday Night Football, prime time on Amazon Prime. Clever of Amazon, right? Sidebar to pick up doing the games. Yeah, they're like, no, we want in. The streamers all want in on football. They're like, nah, the networks don't get that. The legacy networks are in such trouble. Marky and I'll talk about that. They did an announcement at Lambeau Field, my hometown. Not Milwaukee's my hometown. My Green Bay Packers. And they said, we asked the national, this is what they said, not we, the National Football League asks that you please join us in a silent reflection following the murder of Charlie Kirk. I was like, wow, that's primetime NFL. Some young conservative activists just got gunned down and the NFL is taking a moment of silence. And they did that with Black Lives Matter when like hundreds of thousands of people were fucking up in the air on the streets. The Yankees game did the same thing. Had a moment of silence. Well, and Trump was there. But they didn't do it for Trump. They did it for Charlie Kirk. Again, sidebar. When they played the national anthem, if you watched, did you see when Trump was saluted? You hear the national anthem being sung, you see him salute, and you hear the entire stadium go, this roar of like cheers. Like it drowns out the person singing. I was like, wow, America's want America back. And Charlie Kirk was on the America Comeback Tour. Again, I don't care if you're on the left, if you're on the right, if you're in the middle, if you're in none of it. We got one country. We actually have one world, and we are literally on a mission to annihilate ourselves. Alien races are looking down at us going, wow, you people are stupid. You're literally going to burn yourselves out for what? Because you wanted to share a dialogue, have some disagreement. The Prime Minister of Italy said this is a deep wound for democracy. It really does hit at the heart of what a democracy is, you know? And, I don't care. You can be a Tim Tebow and say evil is real. I'm not going to go there. I think what's real is that we have really lost our way, and we can only seem to see our viewpoints so much so that we would rather kill you than let your viewpoint exist. And although you didn't pull the trigger on Charlie Kirk, anybody out there right now who's celebrating, you might as well call yourself an accomplice. And if you're the other side and you're outraged, think about whether you would react, how you'd react to the death of an AOC. Would you be like, that? Good riddance? I mean, it's a scary time. So with that very heavy setup, I'm going to bring my friend Marky Costello into the conversation. Marky is a legendary coach, talent manager. She's coached the biggest names in television and film. She comes from I like to call it a legacy Hollywood family. Her grandfather, or maybe it's her great-grandfather, she'll tell us, was Lou Costello, which if you're under 40, you don't even know what that is. But you, Lou Abbott and Costello, remember who's on first, what's on second? And she also had her own television show on E! Before E! Networks is now officially dying, called Drama Queen. Because Marky can bring the drama, teach the drama, and she understands the landscape we're in, probably, like I said, better than anyone but Roger Ailes, who taught me just about everything I know about media and launched Fox News. And obviously, he was pretty good at that. And Marky, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here. Thanks for taking a few minutes to join me and our audience.
It's a pleasure to be here. It is such a sad, crazy, weird week. One, you're right, our democracy, and two, our freedom of speech. I mean, here's the thing, whether you like Charlie or don't like Charlie, whether you agree or disagree, are we really in this landscape that we just go, well, no, because you're wrong, and I'm going to kill you now, and now you're silenced and quiet? I mean, it's frightening because I coach people to be their most authentic self. Meet where media is, like wherever is going on in your life, that's where you need to be with media, right? It's asinine. And I was just having this conversation that I don't know if it's because access, if it's because of jealousy. I mean, Tyler is going to be notorious from here on out. He will be up there with Charlie as far as, one will be notorious and one won't be notorious. And Tyler will be the notorious one in this scenario, and, in Utah, I think they have the death penalty. I mean, his father turned him in. I mean, I guess where I struggle is that what happens that he goes to a rally a couple months ago and him and, Charlie are arguing, debating. And he goes and tells his family, like, I don't like that guy. I don't agree with the guy. But then what happens that you find out he's going to be in your town, Utah, and I'm going to go there and I'm going to shoot him? Meaning, where's the disconnect? What I need to know, how do we go from 1 to 100?
So maybe that's the question I'm going to make you answer for the audience, because I think everybody's going, where's the disconnect? I think Marky, and don't be modest here, I think you do have a sense of where the disconnect is. I think you've been in this business long enough to see what led us to this point where we're no longer just, it's easy to say social media algorithms, and they did. I get it. My feed shows me enough things, I'm going to think it's true. Somebody who doesn't agree with me, their feed will show them a whole different set of, Ryan Reynolds, the actor, talked about the other day switching phones with a guy on his set who was a Trump supporter. And he looked at the guy's phone just to see, like, look at your feed. And he's like, oh, now I see why you think what you think. Like, right. This is all it tells you. But right. Is that literally what leads us to where we're shooting people?
okay, here's the thing. I did not follow Charlie. I knew who Charlie was. I got what Charlie was all about. He'd come into my feed every once in a while. But because I didn't subscribe to his calling, because I'm not some leftist, but I just didn't agree with everything that he said, he didn't come into my feed. But so we have this privilege, I would say, in 2025 with media where everybody has an opinion. And I've taught for years that your opinion equals your personality, and have that and have it be loud and be proud. But, if I'm scrolling on TikTok and someone's making a pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving, and I'll be like, let me look at the comments to see what the recipe is. People will be like, I hate pumpkin. I'm allergic to cinnamon. Why would you make pumpkin? It's like, Jesus Christ. Like, if you don't like pumpkin pie, keep fucking scrolling. If you don't like Charlie Kirk, don't subscribe to what Charlie Kirk says. The fact that everybody has access and everybody feels like, well, I got to leave my opinion. I got to do this. I got to do that. Like, it's out of control. Right? Meaning,
Yeah.
like, okay.
What's interesting though, you just made me think of this. Like keep scrolling. So, and I compared you to Roger Ailes, and I do think you both had a true. Well, he's dead, but you're still alive.
He would have been killed. He would have been killed in 2025.
Oh, absolutely.
Hated Roger.
Absolutely. And one thing he told me, and my show was 20 years ago on Fox News. One thing he told me was, Bill O'Reilly, who was the lead guy at the network at the time, he said, Rob, more than half of Bill's audience, we know from metrics, more than half of his daily audience are people who can't stand him.
Right.
And I was like, why would they watch him every day? But I realized I had friends in LA who watched Bill O'Reilly every day and yelled at the television like that. Back then you actually had televisions, right? So my question is, it used to actually be that people did watch sometimes for some crazy reason, something they didn't like. But now it's leading to where, like you said, now though, you'll watch it to the point where you will go out. And this isn't a random thing. This is not, we're seeing people get shot down. Kids, you have a young son. Kids get shot in school by their classmates. Like,
I have to worry about that every fucking day. Is my kid going to go to school, and is some unhinged kid going to go there and not like Finn? Finn is loud, Gregorius wears, spider hoodies and, chrome hearts. Are they going to hate him because they think he's spoiled and entitled and kill him because they're an incel that doesn't have any friends, that's like masturbating in their parents' basement? This is the world we live in. Before, like when we went to high school, they just had groups, like you were like with the preppies, the stoners, the this, that, and you would commingle or whatever. But now, no. And I think going back to your point, before Bill O'Reilly, if you hated Bill O'Reilly, you would just yell in your living room, fuck off, Bill, you asshole. Now we take it to social media. Fuck off, you asshole. La, 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 and now we're going to go into a rally. And because we can't adjust to the fact that you guys have a difference of opinion, that you're going to kill him, and then you think that's going to silence him? No, it's just going to make 20 million other people speak. Right? We are.
So why I think this is such an interesting time is I do think we're at an inflection point, Marky, and everybody watching. I don't think I said it about Trump. If Trump had died, there'd be no turning back the clock. Now, the fact that he didn't die got him elected president. They guaranteed his presidency when they tried to kill him, whoever the they is.
Right.
But I think we're at a different, similar point, Marky, where the death of young Charlie Kirk, and I want to sidebar it for a second, because you said something to me earlier this afternoon when we were talking that I thought was really powerful. So I want to get back to that. But about the others who died. Before I do, I just want to leave off in this space with your thoughts. What do we do going forward? You can't put the genie back in the bottle here. You can't undo what we are causing, and you certainly can't turn the algorithms off. So forget about what you would tell, a content creator, a micro creator, a person wanting to have a voice right now.
I think I think we're seeing this on other levels too. I think when Howard Stern last year, pro-Democrat, had Kamala on, had, Joe Biden on, the head of Sirius XM said, guess what? half of the audience likes, Trump and the other half doesn't. But and the old days, that was okay. Like you said, we could say you talk to no, we don't want you doing any more political stuff. Look what happened in late night. Late night, they're notorious in their open monologues to like riff on everything that's going on. They were all against Trump. Well, Stephen Colbert, who had the #1 show in late night, even though less and less people are watching traditional TV or watching late night, but out of all the late night shows, he had the highest ratings. Paramount, we know, CBS, Paramount, the whole 60 Minutes, the lawsuits, the whole thing, the merger, Skydance. They said, nope, you got to let you got to let Stephen Colbert go. Meaning, like, now Netflix has picked him up and they're going to do 2 episodes and this and that. But meaning people are being silenced, right? In traditional media. Then you go non-traditional, like where Charlie had his podcast and he's not being silenced. People who subscribe to his calling are going to listen to that podcast. People who subscribe to his calling are going to follow him on social media, right? Like, and so many people would show up to his rallies, so clearly he had an open dialogue. Like, let's all embrace our differences. Listen, you and I differ. I voted for Kamala. I'm definitely a Democrat. I got a little butthurt with the whole Charlie thing because I was like, 2 hours later, there's a shooting in a Colorado school and 2 kids are in critical condition. And I saw one of the parents on the news saying like, well, like they're devastated. They're going to have to take off the next 2 months from work. They don't know how they're going to feed their other kids or pay their mortgage. But Elon Musk isn't offering to pay their expenses. But we have the Minnesota Vikings quarterback offer to pay Charlie Kirk's family. You had Elon Musk offering. All of these people are offering to take care of Charlie Kirk's family. Why aren't we taking care of these poor kids that are getting shot, their families? Why don't we look into, I don't understand. Like, that's where I get upset to go like, gun violence is awful. And listen, and I have a gun. If someone was breaking into my house, I would take that gun out in a heartbeat. Maybe I'd shoot in the ceiling, out the window to scare the fuck out of them. But I do have the right to bear arms. That's my right. I do have the right to the First Amendment, my freedom of speech. I do have the right to say, I voted for Kamala, but guess what? The people voted for Trump. The people spoke, and I sat the back down. And I didn't go, oh, my life is horrible. Like, I bought on the dip when the stock market went down. I bought when it went back up, meaning there's always good with bad, hot and cold, black and white. Like, there's always the opposites, right? Like, but we're in such a place now with, I don't know if it's big, if it's greed. I don't know if they would have taken that moment for silence if that was on NBC or ABC or CBS. The fact that it was.
That's an interesting point.
I don't know.
That's an interesting point. I don't know either. I mean, the NFL has always been, it's a product. It's pretty aware of the pulse of things. I mean, to me, the number of sports people who talked out on this struck me as interesting. Also the notion that you mentioned. We'll leave Kamala out of it. I'm sorry you voted for Kamala. That's a whole nother conversation. Why people bought that one, but like, I get Joe Biden because they didn't want Trump. So I guess Kamala was because we don't want Trump. I don't know. Anyway, your point.
Kamala was because we didn't want Joe Biden. But go on.
The point about the kids. The 2 points. One, the guns. People are saying he deserved to, like, he shouldn't be protected from his own actions because he said people should have guns. Right. Well, you're a liberal and you're like, yeah, but I have a gun. It doesn't mean because I believe I should be able to have a gun doesn't mean people should shoot. You're not going to shoot random people with your gun. And Marky, what kills me is we've reached a point where people actually believe the guns are what's killing people. I'm like, right. People are nuts right now. Like, you can take away all the guns you want. And yes, gangs will have guns and cops will have guns and thugs will still get guns. And so will kooky people, or they'll just take cars and drive them into parking lots and run over people. Like, the problem's in here. Right. It's like we've lost the plot, as you say. We've lost the whole plot.
But why, if a 17-year-old goes into a church, a school, and the kids are praying, and he kills a bunch of innocent kids and then kills himself, let's back up a fucking 100 fucking feet. how do we go from him being miserable in his life to like, I'm going to go kill a bunch of innocent kids that I don't know, and then I'm going to kill myself? If you want to be provocative or notorious, start a fucking Facebook Live or a fucking Instagram Live or a YouTube Live and do a countdown clock and blow your brains out on YouTube. You will then be notorious. Go fucking
don't say that,
viral.
Marky. Don't say that. Someone's going to do it tomorrow and we're going to be in so much trouble. Someone's going to take your advice.
Why go and hurt the and I worry about this generation, like my 16-year-old. I worry about his generation because they're not like my 28-year-old and my 32-year-old. They're different. They were so upset about Charlie because once again, their freedom of speech and why can't we, but then my 16-year-old, like, it's interesting with his demographic and genre. Like, he had to go change his oil recently. And I was like, well, go into like the auto body part and ask the guy what kind of oil your car takes. Sure enough, he goes and he just Googles it or asks chat GPT. It's the wrong oil. The car gets all fucked. I'm like, why didn't you just ask the guy? They don't talk to strangers. They won't ask the guy. Like they won't. He goes, Mom, you talk to everybody. I go, I talk to everybody because if I walk into a supermarket, what aisle is the rice on? I mean, am I supposed to take out chat GPT? By the time I type in all of that prompt in chat, you know what I mean? Meaning,
ladies and gentlemen, she's here all week. This is why you love Marky Costello. Wait, but on a serious note about this, you said something else that I do think people really overlook. Why do we ignore the fact that this violence is happening on a daily basis? And to your point, nobody's taking care of the kids, the parents of the kids who got shot hours later or the day later, or the shooting 3 days before. And I get it. Charlie Kirk was a high profile person. It's understandable that would trigger a more high profile response. But at the same time, like, we're not stupid, Marky. We know this is going on. And yet our compassion seems to be guardrailed. I mean, and I do feel bad for him. And I feel bad for his young wife, who, by the way, is talking right now for the first time,
what is she saying?
But I don't know. I was going to open it on X. She's talking on the Charlie Kirk's channels. Like she's doing they're live streaming her talking about it. But I do feel for her, obviously. But I would feel for any young mother. And a part of me is like, why do we reserve special compassion for, again, I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way. My heart's broken for what's happened. And I'm torn. I've been talking about this for 2 days for why you killed this young, brilliant, beautiful young mind who was simply engaging with you. But where is our compassion for the rest? And why don't we have that same compassion for the rest? For all the other kids whose parents who are losing kids every day because of the fucked up world we live in, and because of the violence, and not just because of the guns, because of the policies, whatever it is. Like, it's weird to me, and maybe I'm twisted.
It's not glamorous. It's not sensationalized. Like, even if you think about Charlie Manson, everybody talks about the Tate murders. Sharon Tate, married to Roman Polanski. She's a beautiful, beautiful blonde, pregnant actress. He's a Hollywood producer, right? Like, the LaBiancas were killed too, but they were just a little Armenian couple that owned a grocery store. Do we ever talk about the LaBiancas? Sure, if someone goes down the rabbit hole, but what do we talk about with Charlie Manson? The Beach Boys, Dennis Wilson, Terry Melcher, Doris Day's son. We talk about the Hollywood fame, glamorous.
So that's just life. So, Marky, that's just life, right? So if we're going to wrap,
the kids were like, fuck the kids. Charlie wasn't,
Marky, in a way, before I let you go, is it any really different? I started this out by saying your great grandfather was Lou Costello, which, again, a lot of people won't know who that is. Google it, whatever. But he was one of the most famous comedians, of his time and historically, right? And he and Abbott, Abbott and Costello. I mean, was it any different then? Are we just always a celebrity culture? And at the end of the day, we're always going to put more lights and attention on fame and overlook. My sad thing is that I think people have bought into it, and it's like we're all feeding ourselves down the hole. Like, everybody should take advantage right now and go, the system ain't out here to protect me.
No.
It can't protect Charlie Kirk. It can't protect me.
No, it can't protect anybody. And that's really the sad state of affairs. And it was different for my grandfather. My grandfather, Bud Abbott and Luke Russell took Universal Studios out of bankruptcy. Like, now Universal, Peacock, NBC is one of the biggest entertainment conglomerates in the world. They were about to go bankrupt until they signed Abbott and Costello. My grandfather sold more war bonds than any other actor or comedian. Like, he always wanted to support our troops and the boys that were fighting for our democracy in the country. There was a pureness. I think everything is so noisy and loud, and social media is a part of that. Everybody feels like, well, if Charlie Kirk can say that, I can say that too, even though Charlie Kirk at least is saying thought-provoking, interesting topics. Like, he thinks college is a scam. And I agree. I have a 16-year-old that's like, I'm going to study my ass off. Well, what do you really want to do? Because college might not help you. You know what I mean? Like, so my mom died in my second year of college, and I fucking had to pay rent and bills, and fucking I was very successful. Meaning, it's not like, I think because when anybody upsets the norm, like if your whole life you've been told you work hard, play baseball, get a good, scholarship, go to college, and you're going to be successful. When someone questions the norm, it freaks the fuck people out. It does.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're living in this sort of like, people are so fearful, and there's fear mongering, and there's so, let's not even get in all the conspiracy. The shit that I would hear during the election, the conspiracists, or during COVID. Here's a little interesting tidbit. Think about that kid, Tyler. 5 years ago, he was 16 during COVID, during the lockdown. We don't know what the fucking ramifications of the lockdown have on these goddamn kids. Meaning, there's just so much, but once again,
that's a really good point. I made fun of him at the beginning because he's standing outside his university in 2021, like
right.
a sign for his thing, all by himself, nobody anywhere near with a big mask on.
Right.
And I made fun of him like, oh, but now I'm thinking, right, he would have been 17 years old, 16, 17, brainwashed by a system that would make you stand outside by a sign all by yourself and take that. Your brain was washed up. You're right. Who knows what we did to people? We set in motion something really ugly and scary. And you and I are old enough, Marky. We won't probably see all of it, but I'm literally found myself questioning, what am I even doing? Like, is this even makes a difference?
I question it all the time. Like, I'm literally like, I don't like, what the fuck does it all mean? Like, meaning it is frightening and it is scary. And, I don't know what the answer is, except, you've got to be true to yourself. I'm still going to be a loud, obnoxious person. And if people hate me, like I was telling this story, like where I was at a lacrosse game in Albany, Oregon for Finn. And I'm the only one in the visitor section. And Finn makes a goal and I scream, "That's how we do it." And I see this father on the sidelines turn around and look at me. And I'm on the phone with my older son, Lucas. And I said to Lucas, "Oh, this motherfucker thinks he's going to come over and school me on like being loud." Right. And he starts to walk towards me, Rob. And I put my hand out like, "Don't do it, dude. I'm warning you with the hand. Don't do it." Of course, he doesn't heed my warning and continues to walk over and then tell me, "Ma'am, we don't root like that here. We don't." And I'm like, shut the fuck up, motherfucker. I am the only parent in this goddamn section. And when have we gotten so weak and woke that I can't fucking root for my kid at a goddamn sporting event? Meaning I said, fuck off. Then he goes, "I'm going to tell the referee to kick you out." And I looked at him and I said to Lucas, "Hold on." I put my glasses down and I go, "I motherfucking double dog dare you." I go, because there would be nothing more punk rock to me than getting kicked out of a high school lacrosse game in Albany, fucking Oregon, motherfucker. That motherfucker didn't know what to say. He turned around and walked away. Now, was it because I was alone and I'm a woman, or are we living in times where people feel like that's okay? Like, meaning because you don't agree with the way I'm rooting for my kid, you're going to make it like you're going to call me out, make this big thing. You don't agree with Charlie Kirk, so you're going to fucking take a shotgun out and fucking, or a sniper gun or whatever the fuck it is, crawl onto a roof on your belly and fucking shoot him in here. Like, meaning, Stay in your fucking lane, live your lives. Like, meaning you don't have to like me rooting for my kid. You could just be like, oh, she obviously for the other team, and keep it moving. You can swipe if you don't like someone's content. You don't have to follow them. They won't go in your algorithm. They won't show up on your For You page. That's what's genius about social media algorithms. But we've taken things into where and maybe it's because we've had so much access that we feel like we're allowed to comment on everything. No, we're not. Like, shut the fuck up.
Marky, I appreciate you taking the time, and I have to say, and I'm going to just wrap some thoughts up after I let you go, but I'm going to say before you go, I don't think people are capable of, you said you can just swipe. I mean, I think that's the problem. I think people can't change the channel anymore. I mean, I know technically they can. Their brains won't let them stop looking at the thing that they hate or need until they overload and do stupid things. I think we're past the point of just rational going, hey, you don't like pumpkin pie? Move on. No, people are actually going to go ballistic on pumpkin pie lovers. Like,
Rob,
and then poison your pie or kill you.
I want to say one thing before I go. Your talk show was ahead of its time, because if you did your talk show now, you might have so much hate. People might be like, oh no, you can't do that. Like, I was saying that to Taylor, like, she was so funny interviewing in Junket. She'd be like, let me flash you. I go, Taylor, no. They would be like, HR, that's an issue. We can't do, like, meaning as far as we've gone this way, we have gone this way, and we're also sensitive, and we're also fucking woke and sensitive, and we can't do that. You can't say that. I can do whatever the fuck I want. And if you don't like it, then keep it fucking moving. Don't call me. Don't come into my feed. Don't text me. Don't follow. Don't like me. It's okay. I'm going to still sleep tonight and have a great night's sleep, and wake up tomorrow and bike 12 miles and read my book and coach my people and have a great motherfucking life. Love you.
Marky, I love, appreciate, adore you. You make me, even in the midst of a painful time, and I'm a deep, moody, brooding person, you definitely make me smile and remember that even in the midst of it, like, it's okay to laugh and make not fun of it, but to kind of, it's okay. Like, so thank you for that.
You have to. And I love GNN. Keep up the great work, and we'll talk later.
Thanks, Marky.
Bye, Rob.
Hey, everybody. Thank you all for watching tonight. Really appreciate it. I know it's Friday night, and there goes the camera, just went boom. It was great to have Marky on. Appreciate you all taking time. I know Erica Kirk just was talking. I think she might just have wrapped up. She might just be finishing. And of course, they live streamed it. That's the age we live in. Her first comments, post the assassination of her husband, are live streamed, and they're live on Fox, on Jesse Waters. They're live streamed on Charlie Kirk's podcast, and on YouTube and on their channels. That is the world we live in. To Marky's point about the threats, I will say this: Roger Ailes did come to me once. I was pretty provocative back then, and he said, "You get hundreds of pages of hate email," and I was like, "Oh," he's like, "Yeah, you get more hate mail than anyone on our network." People said horrible things. He showed me something. I mean, they did wish me dead and all that. He's like, I laughed. He's like, "Why are you laughing?" I was like, "I don't know. I guess I find it kind of funny." He's like, "Aren't you scared?" I was like, "No." Well, today, you'd want to be scared. Then I was more like, "No, it's just crazy people. They're not actually going to show up in New York and kill me." Today, they very well could. It's like nobody's really safe. And I'm not saying that to terrify people. I'm saying we've done this to ourselves, and it's our choice what we do going forward. It's our choice to decide, do we decide to exist as one, or just simply fragment ourselves into little bits of broken pieces? It's your call. It's not your neighbor's job. It's not your opponent's job. It's each one of our jobs. So I'm signed up for the mission. Thank you guys for taking time. Have a great weekend. Thanks for watching.
Meet Rob Nelson, talk show host.
Because you got the 70s thing going there. I got someone's underwear.
Robert Kennedy, thanks for taking a minute. Simple question.
Tucker?
It's good to see you. Listen,
If you're a Bitcoin maximalist, you're Bitcoin forever.
I hate this central bank digital currency.
Hey, I don't have all the answers, but together, I know we can find them.
Down is competition in the ratings tab for late night.